After 50, loneliness often does not look like having nobody in your phone. It looks like realizing there is nobody you would actually call at 10:30 at night. You can have contacts, colleagues, neighbors, cousins, former friends, people who would be polite if you ran into them at the grocery store. You can have a full calendar and still feel in the most private part of your life socially homeless. By socially homeless, I do not mean literally without housing. I mean without a relational home, without a place where your real self is expected and recognized. The painful part is not that nobody likes you. The painful part is that no one seems close enough to interrupt. This is the loneliness nobody talks about after 50, because from the outside your life may still look intact. You may have worked hard, raised children, kept a marriage going, or survived the end of one, served on committees, answered emails, remembered birthdays. And still, when the house goes quiet, you can feel the absence of one person who would say, "Tell me what happened." Most advice about loneliness begins in the wrong place. It begins with your confidence, your mindset, your willingness to put yourself out there. Those things matter, but they are not the whole story. Friendship does not appear simply because a person is warm, interesting, or emotionally healthy. Friendship forms under conditions. It needs proximity, the simple fact of being near the same people without having to organize everything from scratch. It needs repetition, because closeness usually grows through ordinary exposure, not one brave conversation. And it needs safe vulnerability, the gradual permission to be a little more honest and still be met with care. After 50, many people lose all three and blame themselves for the result. The workplace changes, children leave, a marriage ends, a neighborhood turns over, friends move, retire, pair off, become caregivers, become tired. Nothing dramatic has to happen, the conditions just thin out. This video is about that thinning. Not loneliness as a character flaw, but loneliness as a signal that your life stopped producing the conditions friendship needs. In 2023, the US Surgeon General released an advisory on what it called an epidemic of loneliness and isolation. It defined loneliness as the distressing experience that happens when the connection you have does not match the connection you need. That definition matters because it explains why you can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely. Loneliness is not a head count. It is a gap between contact and meaningful connection. The advisory also made a structural point that is easy to miss. Connection is shaped by workplaces, neighborhoods, schools, digital spaces, transportation, and community life. Your social life is not built only from personality. It is built from the places and routines that repeatedly put you near other people. That is where the first missing condition appears. Proximity is not romance. It is not charisma. It is seeing the same person often enough that a casual greeting can become a pattern. For much of adult life, proximity is provided for you. Work provides it, children's schools provide it, couple friendships provide it. Then after 50, those structures can quietly withdraw. The same advisory cited time use data showing that in-person social time with friends fell from around 60 minutes a day in 2003 to around 20 minutes a day in 2020. That is not a small mood change. That is roughly 20 fewer hours each month in the ordinary presence of friends. The second missing condition is repetition. Jeffrey Hall at the University of Kansas published research in 2019 asking how many hours it takes to make a friend. His findings suggest that moving from acquaintance to casual friend may take around 50 hours together. Reaching genuine closeness may take more than 200. Those numbers are not a fixed law. They are a way of seeing the problem. If closeness needs repeated hours, then a life made of scattered coffee dates, canceled plans, and once-a-quarter catch-ups is not giving friendship enough oxygen. Hall also found that not all time together works the same way. Informal time spent simply being together predicted closeness more than time spent only at work or in structured settings. Many adults after 50 still have functional contact but very little unguarded time. You may speak to people all day and never enter the zone where friendship actually deepens. The third condition is safe vulnerability. Research published in 1997 by Arthur Aaron and colleagues found that structured, reciprocal self-disclosure between strangers could generate genuine closeness within a single session. Both people revealed something real, gradually, and both responded in a way that felt safe enough to continue. The lesson is not that a set of questions magically creates friendship. The lesson is that closeness requires a protected path from polite information to personal truth. Many adults after 50 have no such path. They have status, responsibilities, reputations, families who need them, colleagues who respect them, and acquaintances who know the public version. What they do not have is a setting where vulnerability can grow at human speed. On the health side, the research has become difficult to ignore. Julianne Holt-Lunstad and colleagues at Brigham Young University have published 2 large-scale analyses drawing on millions of participants across dozens of prospective studies. In both bodies of work, social isolation, loneliness, and living alone were each associated with higher mortality risk over time. A 2010 review of 148 studies found that people with stronger social relationships had a 50% higher likelihood of survival compared with people with weaker ones. Associated with is not the same as causes. This is population research, not a prediction about any individual life. But it tells us something important. Connection is not decoration on top of adult life. It is part of the structure that helps life hold. Research from 2006 tracked what scholars call core discussion networks, the people you turn to when something important happens. That work showed a meaningful contraction in those networks across the United States. The phrase alone names the real problem after 50. It is often not that you know no one, it is that your contact list no longer contains enough core. Imagine Robert at 57. For decades, he did not think of work as his social life. He thought of work as work. But work gave him proximity. The same faces, the same meetings, the same jokes before a presentation, the same person beside him at the airport gate. Work gave him repetition, not deep friendship every day, but enough contact for familiarity to accumulate. It also gave him a protected form of vulnerability. Pressure, deadlines, setbacks, a late drink after a difficult quarter. Then the scaffold begins to loosen. Younger colleagues have their own circles. Old peers leave. The lunches become harder to arrange. Retirement changes from an idea into a date. Robert still knows many people, but the machine that kept placing him near them is slowing down. Now imagine Carol at 54. Her social world once had roots through marriage, children's schools, couple dinners, neighborhood obligations, and the calendar of family life. Some of those connections were real, some were pleasant, some were mostly roles. After divorce and after the children leave, the roots are still visible but harder to travel. The couple invitations change, the school-parent conversations vanish. Friends are kind but busy. Everyone assumes she is managing because she has always managed. Carol can fill a Saturday. But that is not the same as being known. She can attend a dinner, laugh at the right moments, drive home, and feel the silence return before she has taken off her coat. This is what socially homeless can mean, not the absence of people, the absence of a place where your unedited self has a standing invitation. For Robert, the old structure was work. For Carol, it may have been family, marriage, or children. For you, it may be something else entirely. The common thread is not weakness. The common thread is that the containers changed before you realized they were containers. You thought you had friendships. In many cases, you had friendships plus architecture. When the architecture disappeared, you were left trying to hold up the entire relationship by willpower. That is why this feels so shameful. You are trying to solve a design problem as if it were a personality defect. The practical question is not, how do I meet more people this week? The better question is, where can I rebuild one container that produces proximity, repetition, and safe vulnerability over time? A container is a repeated setting where the same people can encounter each other without needing a fresh act of courage every time. Think of a weekly walking group where the route becomes familiar before the people do, or a class where showing up the second week already feels different from the first. Or a volunteer shift where the rhythm of the work gives everyone something to talk about before anyone has to perform. The specific activity matters far less than the conditions it creates. If it does not repeat, it cannot do the slow work of friendship. If the same people do not return, proximity never becomes familiarity. This is why simply accepting random invitations can leave you exhausted and still lonely. Random socializing creates motion. It does not always create belonging. The first move is to choose one container small enough to repeat and human enough to deepen, not 10 things. 1. Then measure it by conditions, not by instant chemistry. Does it place you near the same people again and again? Does it allow informal time before or after the official activity? Does it make it possible, eventually, to say something slightly more real than the public version? The objection will arrive quickly. You may think, at my age, everyone already has their people. Some do, many do not. A 2018 survey by KFF and The Economist found that 22% of American adults and 23% of British adults often or always felt lonely, lacked companionship, or felt isolated. That means the room is not divided between lonely you and connected everyone else. Many people are performing competence with the same private uncertainty. Your goal is not to announce loneliness to a stranger. Your goal is to enter a repeated setting where the truth can become less dangerous over time. At first, you only show up, then you remember a name, then you ask one follow-up question, then you let one small true thing be visible. This is how safe vulnerability begins, not as confession, but as a series of small, accurate signals. The outcome you are looking for is not immediate intimacy. It is a life that once again gives friendship a place to happen. There is a quiet cruelty in telling lonely adults to simply be braver. Courage matters, but courage cannot replace structure. If a town has no benches, no sidewalks, no shared rooms, and no recurring rituals, people can be friendly and still remain strangers. If a life has no repeated containers, the same thing happens inside one person. We often talk as if friendship is a test of likability, but friendship is also an outcome of design. Putnam made this point in civic language more than 2 decades ago. His symbol was not that people stopped bowling, it was that they stopped bowling in leagues. The activity remained, the repeating social structure weakened. That distinction changes the question entirely. The question is not only, how do I become less lonely? It is, what kind of life would make connection normal again? That sentence is the doorway out of shame. It moves the problem from your worth to your world. It does not remove responsibility. It gives responsibility a better target. You are not trying to become a different person overnight. You are trying to build a life where the person you already are can be repeatedly found. There may be one place in your week that already contains the beginning of this. Not a perfect place, not a dramatic answer, just a small repeated doorway. If that question stays with you, the connection letter is a free weekly research digest I send every Saturday. One finding, one thing to try, one question. The link is in the description. For now, do not ask whether you are good enough at friendship. Ask something quieter. What is one repeated place where your real self could become easier to find?